Welcome to EV Morning. You grab yourself a coffee and we'll bring you the latest stories in electric vehicles. We'll start this edition with some exciting news about Volkswagen bringing an estate, or wagon as you may call it. They would call it a shooting brake to the market. VW said at the Volkswagen plant in Emden, where the cars are made, the transformation is progressing rapidly. Construction work for the switch to electric cars is well and truly underway. The ID.4 is going to be built there, and now a new model. They called it a Volkswagen Aero, and it'll be made there in 2023. Let's get some more information on this. The Aero model is actually referring to a shooting brake, or an elegant estate car if you like. Maybe you want to call it the ID.5 perhaps, but either way, this is going to be, they haven't given it a definite name yet, more of a luxurious, classy, spacious EV. If you want to compare it to Volkswagen's combustion models, maybe the Phaeton would be good. They said it's going to have a massive trunk volume. It's going to have 700 kilometers of real-world range. It'll be aerodynamic, they say. And it'll be sustainable, premium, and made in Emden. 2023, it'll roll off the production line. Now, would you like this kind of touring, this shooting brake style car with lots of storage in the back? So you might have seen this called the VW Space Vision in concept car form. Well, what do we know about what the VW Space Vision is becoming? Well, we know that 700 kilometer range is the equivalent of 435 miles. The code names that VW use are interesting. They used to call it the Neo, it became the ID.3. The Cross became the ID.4. So we think this could become the ID.5. There's also going to be a sedan version, or saloon version, so maybe that'll be the ID.5, and then this new estate shooting brake car could be the ID.5X or the ID.5S. And what about the battery pack? Well, we don't know any more at the moment, but that original concept car, the Space Vision, when we first saw that revealed at the motor show, was going to come with a 77 kilowatt hour usable battery. 0 to 62 miles an hour, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.4 seconds, all-wheel drive, and based, of course, on VW's MEB platform. So, we know no more details at the moment, but it's interesting how VW are widening their range of electric vehicles. Let's talk Lordstown Motors next on EV Morning. The Endurance truck is going to begin production about a year away, actually, just less, September 2021. Lordstown Motors today released an update to the business, reaffirming that the Lordstown Motors Endurance truck is indeed on schedule for September 2021. The initial plan was to start deliveries this year, in December 2020, but that was delayed to January, then summer, and now September 2021. So we wish them all the best. According to the press release that we were sent here at the Vox network, they say that Lordstown Motors has received 50,000 production reservations from commercial fleets. The beta series versions, test units if you like, about 50 of those will be made for things like crash testing and validation, engineering testing. It'll have 4 in-wheel hub motors built on a ladder frame, the battery box sitting low down in the middle of the car. Aimed at fleets, it's a very conventional design truck, nothing like a Tesla Cybertruck here. No particular speed records being set, 80 miles an hour top speed, but if this is being bought by fleets, I'm sure they don't want their drivers driving too fast anyway, if it's a working vehicle. So the battery will come from Samsung, and the truck will have 600 horsepower. We watched that one very interestingly. Next, we'll talk about Ford and how they're considering in-house production of their own lithium-ion batteries. Well, Ford's new CEO, his name is Jim Farley, and he recently surprised the industry by revealing that the company is considering battery cell manufacturing. Over the last 10 years or so, Ford have become quite distanced to the idea of making their own batteries for their EVs. They were very happy to purchase the cells and the whole batteries from external suppliers. But the previous CEO, another Jim, this time Jim Hackett, said that there's no advantage of making your own batteries, so Ford had no plans to. But Jim Farley, the new CEO, noted that it's natural at higher volume and that the battery market doesn't offer much capacity flexibility, so therefore in the North American market, when looking at Tesla having the Gigafactory with Panasonic, GM, General Motors having their Ultium cells and their battery partner LG Chem, Volkswagen working with SK Innovation, Nissan as well, Ford felt they were missing out. So, Ford saying that they will look at the long-term plans to halve the price of batteries and make electric vehicles available to more people and those Ford fans, and to do that by making their own battery packs. A story coming from the UK next. The UK government say they'll ban the sale of completely petrol and diesel cars from 2030. There is a slight asterisk to that in that plug-in hybrid cars will be allowed until 2035, but that's still 10 years earlier than previously planned, as part of a 10-point plan announced by the Prime Minister Boris Johnson here, where I'm recording your EV Morning episode in the UK. They'll spend £1.3 billion of cash on infrastructure for car charging and on grants to encourage people into EVs. Following consultation with car makers and sellers, the UK government confirmed that 2030 is the new date, 10 years earlier than previously announced. And, of course, they said that plug-in hybrids will be allowed until 2035 if they go a significant distance on battery power alone. So how does the UK compare with maybe where you're watching or around the world? Well, California have the aim of banning fossil cars and trucks by 2035. That is called an executive order, so it can be overturned, but it's still intent. Of course, Norway has around 75% of all new vehicles with a plug socket, almost half of all new cars sold in the first half of 2020 were indeed fully electric. And that's funny, because Norway is a country built, in many ways, on oil and gas revenue. So, how about the rest of Europe? Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands and Ireland have all set a date, aiming towards 2030, and France and Spain currently 2040, but we wouldn't be surprised to see that timescale moved up. What do you think about the idea of banning petrol and diesel to encourage people in an EV? Will those bans even be needed if EVs are popular by then? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you on the next one.